I ignored my destiny once. I cannot do that again. Even for you. I'm the only one who knows that. At least I'm the only one with the will to act on it.
The Mad Titan Podcast with your host, Jay Washington.
What's happening, everybody? I'm back. It's episode 87 of the Mad Titan Podcast with me, your resident city governor, Mr. Jay Washington. What's going on, people? How you feeling? Thank you, first and foremost, everybody. Checked out episode 86. I appreciate y'all, man. Thank you for the love. I told you I'm trying to get these back regularly. The reason you didn't get this last week like I thought you were going to was because through the 9th through the 11th to the 12th, I was supposed to have taken some days off. Flew back into my hometown of Chicago. Was supposed to just chill, do nothing, to try to reset and re-energize and recharge, things like that, right? I get in on Monday afternoon, Monday evening, my voiceover agent sends me an audition. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? So then I had to do it on Tuesday. Wednesday, I go to a museum, see the Marvel exhibit at the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago. It was pretty dope. Gives you a lot of backstory of Marvel Comics. There is not a lot of MCU history. There's some MCU stuff. For those who are expecting to go see it in Chicago while it's still there, till October it is. So not a lot of MCU stuff. It's more about Marvel Comics as a whole, which I'm cool with completely. I didn't know if it was going to be a big hybrid of both, but I was pleased. The nerd in me was happy. So nonetheless, and I got back Thursday. As soon as I got back Thursday, I had another audition that was due. I had to get ready for Blurred in the Hood, and then I had to work my gig at the nightclub as a bouncer. So between that and then all the weekend was working the bouncer gig and the regular stuff. And so I wanted to make sure I etched this out. Nonetheless, we are here. Thank you. This is going to be another episode where it's just your boy. Everybody been saying they want to do it, but I can't. It's hard trying to mesh up schedules, and we'll see if the world shuts down again. Hopefully it'll be easier to get people rocking with your boy. But for those who are new to the podcast, those who just finding out about me, like, yo, I keep hearing about this Mad Titan joint. What is it? What this is I get you caught up on the world of everything that's happening in Marvel and DC, live action, the cinematic universes, whether it's TV or film, all right? This is barbershop talk for nerds. So I try to keep shit A100 with you. I try to have a pretty median line perspective on things. I try not to be superly biased towards anything. Now, yes, let me say this out the gate. Everybody knows I'm a Marvel fan. Everybody knows I like DC too. So the bias won't be there. But also people know that I have friends who are in projects for both Marvel and DC. So, sometimes you might feel I want to pick and choose. I don't. My homies even know, like, yo, if he don't like something, he don't like it. If he likes it, he likes it. And for anybody who's ever said, oh, Jay, you just paid by Marvel, you a Marvel shield and blah, 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 blah. I wish these motherfuckers were paying me because I've got bills. But I digress. I am here. We're into it. We're going to talk about it. Let's get right into it, man, with my Marvel news. I didn't get a chance to talk about it last week, and I haven't caught up on this week's episode, but what if the animated multiverse series based on the comic book saga has debuted on Disney+. The first episode involved what if Peggy Carter took the super soldier serum as opposed to Steve Rogers. And it's weird the response that it got. There are some people who said they wanted more of the story. So basically what I felt like you wanted is the entire retelling of Captain America, the First Avenger, with just Peggy. There were some people who just were like, I don't get it. It really feels like in a lot of cases, and y'all know, if you listen to the podcast, you know I'm not that dude. This feels like a lot of misogyny real quick, because already there was a lot of hell with the way Marvel Studios was promoting this, and they kept putting Peggy Carter as Captain Carter in the front. Of course, we knew it was the first episode, and then there was this big backlash of, well, this not even big backlash, this Twitter social media backlash, because that shit really ain't big, but we make social media have so much of a voice, and it makes so much noise that everybody seems to think it's just law. And people were like, oh, how they just gonna push Peggy Carter's Captain America? You just made Sam Wilson Captain America. What about the black man? Blah, blah, blah. Shut the fuck up. It was the first episode of the series. They're letting you know what they're coming out the gate with. And then people are like, I feel like we should have seen her do more. It's a quick what if. Do we really need to see Peggy do every single thing Steve did? Nah. You got the gist of what it was about. Her being put in a position where Steve was shot. The experiment needed to happen. She takes the serum. Her being treated less than, not just for the fact that she was the only super soldier, just like Steve was treated, but the fact she's a woman in World War One, no, two, in World War II. So it's like, yo, calm down, right? You got the gist of that. But people gonna be people. People gonna find a way to nitpick and be mad and angry as shit regardless. And I know, again, that some people feel like certain properties and certain companies can't do no wrong, and some are just completely fallible. And that's not the case with everything. So I think we gotta chill. But I have not seen the second episode. I guess this is one of those episodes where I want to see it. I am going to see it, but I have to brace myself to see it. It is the one where you have T'Challa become Star-Lord, and it is actually voiced by Chadwick Boseman. It's one of like the last 4 times within the What If series that we'll hear his voice ever, and throughout Marvel Cinematic Universe. And so I know myself and many others have already been saying the emotion is set to fly high, and so we're expecting that. And so it's one of those, I gotta sit down, I gotta brace myself for this, but I am going to watch it. So by the time you all hear this and this is put out, I will have seen it. I will let you know on the next episode what I think about it. I know some people also were complaining about why didn't they change up the animation styles a la Love, Death, Robots on Netflix. Like, yo, they could have. They just didn't want to. I think that also changing up the animation styles takes a little bit longer because you have to get those different animation styles. And yeah, there may be some people like, yo, but this is Marvel Studios. This is Disney. They got all this money. They do. But sometimes they don't have all this time. You got the world pushed back. Now, don't get me wrong. Animation becomes a little bit simpler when we were all in a quarantine state. Because, again, everybody's just in one place doing things. There's nothing else really to focus on. I get that. But at the same time, you have all these studios, regardless if it's Marvel, regardless if it's Warner Brothers, whatever, trying to get a lot of content out here just in case there is another full shutdown to happen. This is just in case. Not saying it's a guarantee. I know people are like, but the economy can't. Look, the economy is okay. You know why? Because summer happened. So much money moves around through the summer, whether it be travel, festivals, just wanting to show off and splurge, etc., etc. All that's happened. So the economy's fine. But again, in the off chance that there is another shutdown, these companies want to have content ready and available to drop. This isn't like myself and many others who do a lot of primary stuff through do a lot of stuff through YouTube or different networks, etc. It is having the stuff readily. Also, for me, being a stand-up and an actor. Stand-up, I know, is like, yo, I'm not going back to Zoom. I can't stand on Zoom and tell jokes anymore. I can't do it. But as far as acting, different projects, projects are trying to cast and get stuff out the way, and then all of a sudden things shut down. And so you have all these different scenarios. So I bring that back around to the animation time of Marvel Studios wanted this out because they got to try to make sure they're getting everything else out as least pushed back as possible. And when I say that, it's because another project, and it's not Marvel Studios, it's Sony, has been pushed back. Venom 2 has been officially pushed back to October. I believe it's October 15th. It will now be competing up against Halloween Kills in its release. This is, of course, due to the rise in Delta variant cases, which, again, I'm going to tell you, like I say on Blurs in the Hood, get vaccinated. Just do it. Stop telling me we don't have all the science yet. First of all, you've never studied all the science, but nonetheless, the science is there. We don't know long-term effects. Stop. I really, I said this on the show. I'm always going to reference stuff I say on Blurs because I say here, because some people don't watch Blurs. Some people do. I understand the hesitancy, especially in my community, the black community, of talking about why we don't want it, because people will bring up the Tuskegee experiment, but also forget to include the fact that it was not the fact of the experiment itself, not the injections. It was the fact that black people were refused medical treatment. There's a part of that. I understand black people's hesitancy. But like I've always said, do you really think if they being the government, was trying to just kill off niggas, they would have gave it to the police first? Police doing a damn enough good enough job than anybody else would, than the virus could. So, get vaccinated so you can go out here and, be able to enjoy shit. That's why places are requiring you have a vaccination card. Look, for people like, oh, it's not right to have a vaccination card, and Jay, why you getting political? I'm not getting political. That's the thing. A virus is not political. I'm being real. So when y'all get mad about, I got to show a vaccination card to go someplace, just like people were saying, well, a conservative Christian bakery don't have to serve a gay couple, or, I shouldn't have to do this. Yo, when places get the right, no shirt, no shoes, no service, they can add no vaccine, no mask. They can do that. They're a private entity. Airlines are going to do it. Hell, a lot of people don't remember you have to have a vaccination card to get into school as a kid. And people are still getting their kids vaccines to go to school. You got to have a whole I don't want to have a vaccination passport to show my vaccination. You got to get shots, brand new shots, if you want to go overseas to certain countries. You can't even get on the plane unless you show that card with those shots. So I digress. Because of this is why we're pushing back movie dates. Again, Venom 2 pushed back to October. No Time to Die may not come out again until 2022. So I want y'all to be prepared for all that. Again, there's different things we got to think of. But I have my hesitations and my reservations with Venom 2. Y'all already know I wasn't a fan of the first one. Not going to lie and say I was. Not a fan. But also, Woody Harrelson got a better wig, right? Cool, bet. Thank God. But the animation, the CGI from the one scene we see in the church where the mesh of Cletus Cassidy and the Carnage symbiote come together in the transformation, it looks so cheesy in that moment. I was like, yo, please tell me this isn't the finished CGI. It looked bad. It just looked bad. I was like, I know what you're going for, but people already had hesitations and reservations, like I said, from the first one. But whatever. We will see what happens. All right, let's keep it moving. All right, next news. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. So it has been officially revealed that it is only coming out in theaters, right? There will be no simul release with Disney Plus, with Premier Access, anything like that. And Disney CEO Bob Chapek said that it will be an interesting experiment. And so by him saying that, Star Simu Liu said, yo, we're not an experiment, blah, 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 blah. We're going to be, not to say blah, blah, blah to dismiss him. We're not an experiment. We're going to be historical. We're going to be groundbreaking. And then it had to be clarified what he meant by experiment. The experiment being, this will be their first major blockbuster release outside of simul releasing throughout the pandemic. Or, yes, because we're still in the pandemic. So I get that one. Now, as someone who has seen Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, my full review will be up next week. Yo, this shit is amazing. The fight choreography is some of the best fight choreography I have ever seen. And I say that outside of comic book movies. The fight choreography is fight choreography. God knows I wish we would have gotten an Iron Fist. It is visually stunning. I will be honest, I had to swallow my hate of Awkwafina and enjoyed her in this movie. You're probably wondering, Jay, why do you hate Awkwafina? And I'm going to just keep it a buck with y'all, because that's what I do here. Awkwafina has made her entire career. Her career is based off of acting black and being a culture vulture. And then disparaging black people. Here's the thing. Some people are like, oh, she really talk like that because that's where she from. She from Queens. Bro, have y'all really heard how Awkwafina talks? She does not talk hood like she acts. Again, culture vulture shit. And so, and also having disparaged black people before. And so again, I can't rock with you as a person like that. But that being said, in the movie, I dug what she does, how her character is. Let's say that her character's arc, I fucks with it heavy. Tony Leung is just yo. Tony Leung is just amazing. One of the things too, Kevin Feige had to come out and say, he had to speak about the worry that the Chinese market had. And the big worry is that this movie would portray a lot of Chinese racial stereotypes. This is based on the comic itself. If you've never read a Shang-Chi comic, okay, first of all, Shang-Chi's father in the comic is Fu Manchu. It's a very stereotypical name with the mustache that goes out and then down and it's pointy. That is not the case. The Mandarin is not. So Tony Leung plays Wenwu, who is technically the real Mandarin. He is not the Mandarin. Here's a small spoiler. He is not called the Mandarin, but he also explains why he's not called the Mandarin. And it is the best connectivity to the MCU that works. Because again, as you know, if you've seen the pictures from the premiere that happened here in Los Angeles, from a lot of announcements, Ben Kingsley is back as Trevor Slattery, who, if you remember in Iron Man 3, he was the dude who was supposed to be the Mandarin. We find out he's an actor, but then in Return of the King, the Marvel Studios short, the one-shot short, you're like, is he the Mandarin? But you find out everything. Everything adds up, how he gets out of prison and everything. It all comes together. Another thing that is not there, Fin Fang Foom is actually another stereotype. Now, for those who don't know, Fin Fang Foom he's this giant talking dragon. He is one of Iron Man's biggest enemies. He's Shang-Chi's enemy. Now, I personally wanted Fin Fang Foom. I did, because I just want a giant talking dragon who fucks people up. That's just keeping it a buck with y'all. But you won't get Fin Fang Foom. Again, it is all respect due to the Chinese culture, heritage, and prevention of stereotypes. This also goes back to the backlash that they caught with Mulan. So you don't want to have that same mistake. Now, also you had Mulan's star, who was anti the Hong Kong protests, and that affected a lot. But again, this is, as someone who has seen this, as someone who understands what Black Panther did for the culture, for the black culture, as far as seeing black superhero leads with a predominantly black cast, I understand what Shang-Chi can be. I get it. Now, for the Hispanic Latin community, that was supposed to be Blue Beetle. And when I say supposed to be, because you were supposed to get that on the big screen in theaters. Instead, Warner Brothers has relegated that to an HBO Max original movie. I feel like that's a cheap way out. You don't trust the character of Jaime Reyes. But again, many people didn't know who Shang-Chi is. That's the beautiful thing about comic book movies within themselves, right? Besides some of the basic characters, Spider-Man, the Hulk, I'm going to go with Marvel. Besides Spider-Man, the Hulk, in many cases Iron Man, Captain America, because before then, let's just be real, Captain America and Iron Man were like C-tier characters. Nobody really cared about them. The Fantastic Four, the X-Men, Black Panther, minus a few of these. And then, there are some other ones, of course. Don't get me wrong. There's too many to list. Most people don't know who they are. So their introductions to them are through these movies and TV shows. Granted, yes, they have now shown that and when I say these TV shows and movies have shown that they have garnered enough trust with audiences who will go out to see them who are not familiar with them, and therefore it'll generate revenue, right? Again, when I go back to Black Panther, you had many black people, many older black people, men and women, who had never watched a comic book movie, never seen an MCU film, a Marvel film, a DC film, a DCEU film. You get the point, you get my drift, who made sure that they went out to go support Black Panther because of the historical significance of it and the there's this rule for those of my non-black listeners. And I say that, and let me just let's say this to my white listeners. I'm gonna be straight up, because everybody who's not white understands this in many cases. You get one shot to make it count. You get one shot to this. They're giving you a major blockbuster movie. You get one shot to have a black lead, predominantly black cast, black director, all that. You get one shot. If it bombs at the box office, it is going to be an extremely long time before it happens again. Now, when it comes to the Hispanic Latin community, I know people will bring up In the Heights. The problem with bringing up In the Heights is it's a musical. Not everybody are fans of musicals, regardless of the film. I know I just stated about comic book movies, but there is something about musicals that just turns people off general. But with Blue Beetle, I'm pretty sure they would have come out. This brings me back to Shang-Chi. Crazy Rich Asians started it. Okay, cool. This is something for the culture. This really talks about what we go through in this culture. People get to see it. These are real jokes about real things that you may not have known, that now you've heard from your Korean, Chinese, Japanese, various Asian American and Asian friends, and now you see it played out on the big screen. The same thing applies to Shang-Chi, because now this is this major blockbuster movie. And so, of course, they come out in droves. Shout out to my homegirl, Erica Ishii, who got to host the premiere. It's a big thing for her, and I get it. So, to say it's an experiment, it's experimental because of the time and the predicament. But look, the cultures will show up for their culture. They really believe in it. So that's all I want to say about that. But again, my full review on Shang-Chi drops on the 23rd when the embargo was up. Like I said, I gave you a little social media things and whatnot, and I said on Twitter, after watching Shang-Chi, we are real close to getting the word fuck used in the MCU. And yes, I was like, well, Deadpool's gonna get it. I don't think Deadpool will be the first. The way they're going, I mean, you would think they would save it for Deadpool, but it looked like it's coming sooner. After you see Shang-Chi, you'll get what I'm talking about. Let's drop into this. Anthony Mackie has officially signed on his deal for Captain America 4. Now, I, like many others, thought that it would be a foregone conclusion, but it is it's not the case. But it is officially signed on to be Captain America. Malcolm Spellman, who wrote The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, he will be writing the screenplay alongside staff writer Dallin Mewson. Now, we don't know if Sebastian Stan's going to return. It's not, we're not sure, but based on the ending of the miniseries, it looks like he'll be back. More than likely, we can get Baron Zemo. We might get Sharon Carter. We might get Sarah Wilson. Sam's sister. We potentially could get John Walker, U.S. agent, or Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, played by Julia Louis-Dreyfus, because she's a big part in what's going on now with what you saw in Captain America: Winter Soldier, what you saw in Black Widow, what you will see happen in Hawkeye. Are we getting the Thunderbolts? Are we getting the West Coast Avengers, Young Avengers, all these different things? So we don't know, and the plot has been under wraps for now, but we don't know, but cool. This may be more than likely will be a Phase 5 project, so more info will come on that. I want to save my last bit of Marvel news for this little bit for last. As I record this on Thursday, August 19th, 2021, in the year of our Lord, early this morning at midnight, Marvel Studios sent everybody a "You Up" text. And by that "You Up" text, we got the first real trailer for the upcoming Eternals movie. And I can tell you this, I lost my fucking mind. I am so in love with this movie already, and I have not seen it. Now, we got the teaser, and it showed us the pageantry, the beauty, the cultural relevance it'll go through with the film. Cool, I was good with that. We got so much action. We actually hear why the Eternals didn't do anything when Thanos arrived. They said, look, we were told not to do anything unless it was a deviant. And then people are like, well, technically ain't Thanos a deviant? Yes, he is, but not he's not a deviant the way the deviants that were created are deviants. He's a deviant by birth, not by creation. Yes, the deviants were created. And so you see the Celestials, you see potentially the Unimind, the relationship with Thena, played by Angelina Jolie, and Crow, who's a deviant. Which, again, I was telling people in my trailer reaction, which you can see on my YouTube channel. Again, I've been plugging a lot of shit on here because I'm a lot of different places when it comes to this stuff. The relationship of Crow and Thena is like a Romeo Juliet, forbidden lovers type thing. Crow's a deviant. He's in love with Thena, and Thena's in love with him. And we see a little bit of that in the trailer. And so that helps, that goes things. You get Selma Hayek's Ajax, Richard Madden's Icarus, who for a hot second when I looked, again, it was midnight when I was watching, I was like, yo, was that Sebastian Stan? I was like, oh no, that's Icarus. What the hell am I talking about? But we got that. Yeah, I am excited. November 4th. I knew, and I think a lot of us knew, we were saying how one of the biggest things Marvel couldn't wait to do with this trailer was put the words from Academy Award winner Chloe Zhao. They couldn't wait to do it, and it happened. It came to fruition. It's come to fruition. And so again, I've seen some people say, "Well, I don't get this. This just doesn't strike me." I think that's fair. I think that's totally fair. I think you're able to say that, like, yo, I'm not sure if I like this. I'm not interested. But I always beckon people with this. Did you know about the Guardians of the Galaxy before you first saw the movie? Did you know? Now, even some diehard comic book fans will lie and tell you they did, when in all actuality, they didn't. But you saw this movie, and you fell in love, like I always say, with a talking raccoon and a talking tree. And now, you have a group of heroes who are ancient cosmic beings, which again, we're in the phase of cosmic, magical, quantum. This is what phase 4 of the MCU is. Let this play out. I'm telling y'all, these Celestials, these deviants, this gets bigger. This opens up a whole new world. I have had my theory from jump. And my theory has been that the Eternals will be our jump-off point for mutants. A lot of people have said it's going to be Miss Marvel because they could either swap the Inhuman thing for mutants. I just feel like the snap will be explained, which you kind of get an explanation in the trailer. I believe that the snap will play a whole bigger picture than what we see. But again, it's a theory. It's nothing I'm holding my hat on. It is what it is. All right, that's all I got for Marvel News. Let's move on to DC. The Suicide Squad. My review is up on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/JAYWashington80. Go ahead and check that out. I loved it. I freaking loved it. I watched it. I've watched it multiple times already. I think James Gunn did something that was amazing. The way he made it when he told you that no one is safe. I don't want to spoil it because, again, yeah, it's been out for a week. Nah, fuck it. When he told you nobody is safe, when Rick Flag dies, you like, yo, nobody is safe in this movie. Nobody. And I don't blame it. I don't blame it. And I need just a whole nother series with Sylvester Stallone voicing King Shark. Idris Elba's Bloodsport, yes, he's basically Deadshot with fancier weapons, but it worked. It worked. Daniela Melchior as Ratcatcher 2, the heart of the whole movie, the heart of the entire movie. It's so amazing. All these different things that play off one another and they work. There were some people like, there's like plot holes. What's the plot holes? These people die. They're villains who try to redeem themselves, who will die in the process because Amanda Waller feels they are expendable. She doesn't care. Not going to get into that whole argument debate on here. Just not. All right, we're going to keep it moving. Taylor Buck has been up to the series regular for season 2 of Superman and Lois. Now, she plays Natalie, or is it Natasha? I just made sure I got it right. She plays Natalie Irons. Now, she's based on Natasha Irons from the comics, who is a DC Comics heroine who operated as the Fifth Steel. She also used the code names Starlight and Vaporlock. But you got her on board. She's going to be fighting alongside potentially her father, John Henry Irons. and against the Kents. So we shall see. I got to catch up on all the rest of the season, but from what I've heard, Superman and Lois turned out to be one of the best Arrowverse shows possible, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it. And I think in my last bit of DC news that I actually want to talk about, it is rumored that a Birds of Prey spinoff is said to be in the works, and it focuses on Journey Smollett's Black Canary. Now, the announcement may be coming during this year's DC Fandom. Here is... Yeah, I've been watching Breaking Bad and some of Netflix decided to play. Here is some Mad Titan, some dirt, some gossip, some truth, a spoiler, a leak. Claim it. Birds of Prey, the Black Canary spinoff, is going to be a Lovecraft Country reteaming. I am saying it here now so you all can lock it in and hear it when it comes back and you be like, oh shit, Jay called it. Birds of Prey is going to be a Lovecraft Country reteaming. You are going to have showrunner, actress, they've been paired together, they're coming back together. That's all I'm going to say right now. Cool. Let's move on. Forgot about one thing. Titans dropped. The first 3 episodes came out on HBO Max. And within like the first 6-7 minutes, they got right into it with the death of Jason Todd. That shows his transformation to him to the Red Hood. I guess this worked for me because the actor who plays Jason Todd, he made Jason Todd so annoying that you wanted to see that moment when he finally gets his shit bashed in by the Joker, and you get it. And his Red Hood, it's a little bit different from the comics, where Red Hood was just like trying to take down criminals. He's working with criminals in this one. He's trying to destroy and spite the Titans and Batman in particular, which again, I still am not with Jorah Mormont playing Bruce Wayne. I still am not with it. He is too small. He is way too small to be Bruce Wayne or Batman. Granted, we won't ever see Batman directly in it. We might see silhouettes, but we'll never see Batman directly. I just think he's way too small for the role. It just doesn't fit for me personally. I don't know how y'all feel. Let me know how you think about that. You got Starfire having visions. We don't have Rachel yet, Raven. She has to bring back Donna Troy from Themyscira, bring her back to life. Oh my God, I'm going to spoil this for y'all if y'all ain't seen it. Hawk is dead. Hank is dead, and here's how Hank is dead. Hank is dead because he decides after Red Hood puts an ass whooping on him, he decides to go after Jason by himself, right? In the process of him thinking he's going by Jason by himself, Jason kidnaps him and puts him in an experimental Wayne Tech explosive detonator with barbs in it in his heart. And it has a countdown on it. The countdown isn't time. The countdown is heartbeats. How many heartbeats he has left, right? So you got the Titans trying to figure it out. You got Superboy Connor trying to figure out how to jerry-rig to make a D-detonator, et cetera, along with Beast Boy. Dove decides to go find Jason, tries to, get him to give over the detonator. So she reaches him, and she says, where's the detonator? And Jason says, right there, in his box. And open up his box is a gun. But you see Jason's holding the detonator in his hand, right? And she's like, yo, if you want this detonator, all you got to do is pull the trigger and kill me, right? Cool. So eventually Nightwing shows up, tries to stop Dawn. They tussle, and eventually it gets to the point Dawn gets the gun, pulls the trigger. Nothing comes out. No bullet comes out. Nothing happens. She wondering what the hell is going on. Jason says, my bad. I must have gave you the detonator. Her pulling the trigger sets the bomb off. Literally, when Connor figures out how to make the detonator with a 0% failure rate. I was like, oh shit. Because then you see Dawn hugging Dick Thomason. What happened? Because they're in a whole other place, but they don't realize that Hank had been exploded. And so I got to play catch up. Well, not catch up. Let's see if the new episode dropped. But, I mean, we took out a Titan already. We had a death. I think, we already know that Titans is a darker version. It's more gritty. Thank God you can actually see. And by see, I mean the lighting they've used in the series. But I'm here for it. I'm here for it, man. That about wraps up all that I have for today with the topics I wanted to talk about. I'm just moving some stuff around real quick, y'all. Give me a second. I'm adding some stuff, putting it where it needs to be. All right, let's move that there. There you go. All right, so let's go I'm going to see if I got any emails and calls. Emails, madtitanpodcast@gmail.com, madtitanpodcast@gmail.com. Phone calls to the Mad Titan hotline, 818-276-6947, 818-276-6947. You can call the hotline. I have, okay, here we go. Here's an email from Shamar Jackson. The title is James Gunn. Says, after watching The Suicide Squad and seeing what James Gunn pulled off, would you rather him direct another DC film or continue with Marvel films? Been a fan since I stumbled across you on Collider Live. Midwest love from Indiana. Sincerely, Shamar Jackson. First of all, thank you so much for the love from the Midwest. Of course, being an Illinois boy from Chicago, you know, it's that kinship there. I don't know. I feel like he can do either or. I think DC gave him the freedom to be dark because DC wanted to be darker and, you know, edgier per se. And that's James Gunn's background prior to Guardians. Him being with Trauma, what he did with Super and all these other things. Him producing Brightburn and producer of the Belko Experiment. So all these different things work and lend themselves to him doing more DC films down that line. But the humor and tone that we got through Guardians of the Galaxy is something that the only person who could recreate that is Taika Waititi, but Taika kind of doesn't even want to do it and take it away from James Gunn. So it's kind of hard to say. I would love to see him do a Suicide Squad sequel to this one. I absolutely would, but I don't want to see him leave Marvel at all, if that makes sense. I want to see him do both. All right, let's go to my next email. Some quotes. It's from the homie Fred Castillo, who's a member of the Supervillain Squad. I appreciate you. Says, hey, Mr. J, it's been a while. Hopefully you're taking everything in stride and keeping a positive outlook. I notice when I'm talking to new people at work, I use a lot of quotes from Marvel and DC movies. What are some of your favorite quotes that provide humor and or lessons to the young people in your life? Some of mine are variations from quotes like, contrary to belief, you are not the center of my universe. That was from Nick Fury. So we're doing the little things a little out of order. Arthur Curry. Time works different around here from the Grandmaster. Thanks for taking my email and stay strong. Oh, that's a good one. Thanks, Fred, first of all, for the email. Which ones do I use a lot? I think a lot of people go, I mean, even though people were using it prior, but it's the way it's been done since Thor Ragnarok. People going, is he though? Is it though? Is he though? Like, doing that. Have I used? Yeah, I have used. It definitely puts a smile on my face. I've used the Thanos quotes a couple of times. I think so many more. I'd have to really sit back and think about what I've used in my regular life. But nonetheless, thank you all for both of your emails. Again, madtitanpodcast@gmail.com, madtitanpodcast@gmail.com. You can call the hotline, like I said, 818-276-6947, 818-276-6947. All right, that wraps up this episode 87 of the Mad Titan Podcast. I told y'all I was getting these out one way or another, if it was just me or whatnot, but I'm working on getting people back on here with me to have somebody to bounce thoughts and ideas off of and, you know, crack a few extra jokes with. Y'all already know how to follow me. Twitter and Instagram at Mr. J Washington, MRJAY. You should know how to spell Washington. By the way, you did not listen to this at 1.5 speed. Yes, I was talking fast as fuck throughout it because I'm trying to do this. I'm recording this podcast as well as doing laundry. I am multitasking. The YouTube channel, like I mentioned earlier, youtube.com/JAYWashington80. Blurs in the Hood every Tuesday and Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. on the East Coast. YouTube.com/BLERDS, the letter NTHEHOOD, as well as Twitch.tv/Blurs in the Hood. Me and Winston A. Marshall. We talk about the world of pop culture, sports, news, entertainment, blurred stuff, nerd stuff, all from a blurred perspective, black nerd's perspective, and we are unapologetically dope, all right? I got a lot of stand-up coming up throughout the city of L.A. I'm back wrestling. I'll be in the wrestling ring on August 29th in Compton, California. My birthday is next week. This is the 19th. My birthday is August 25th. So if you want to show me some love, please feel free to do so. all those good things. Like I said, if you want to join the Supervillain Squad on Patreon, please support over there. Patreon.com/Mr. J Washington. Thank you to all the members of my squad. Adam Collins, Adalberto Rios, who was at the 101 with the Supervillain level. To everyone at the 101 level, by the way, I will be sending out the dates, so you'll be congested, and I'm just going to have to push through them. Again, y'all know everything that's been going on. I'm getting these dates out so we can get these done ASAP. Brock Severson, Chauncey Woodson at the 101 level. Thank you. Cheryl Corbin, Christopher Lee at the 101 level. Appreciate you. Christopher Conley, Dan Bemke, David Adams, Deontay Clemens, Edward Wilshire, Ethan Puente, Fanboy Catilla, Fillmore Pockets, Fred Castillo, Hillary Nellums, James Robbins, Jim Payne at the 101 level. Thank you. Jolene, thank you at the 101 level. Justice Square, Kenneth Daisy, Kirstie Oliveria, Marcus Burton, Mikey Lito, Patrick Harden, Quentin Muro, Randy Constance at the 101. Thank you. Rudy Rueda, thank you as well at the 101. And Saul Goldman. Please, if you want to support and you want to join, again, it's $5 a month to support. Patreon.com/Mr. J Washington. Or if I got a couple slots open, I think, on the 101 with the Supervillain level, it's $25. We sit down for about 30 to 45 minutes and talk about whatever it is you want to talk about once a month. It's been a ball. If you're a member of the squad, you can see all of the previous 101s. I have so much fun. We open up and get to know so much about the lives of all the members of the squad, as well as myself on so many different levels. Excuse me. All right, that's it. Holla at y'all next week. Till then, take care. Your boy's out of here. Bye.